Hello everyone, welcome back to From the Depths. Today we're going to be doing a quick little update covering video. And when we entered the vehicle designer over here, we got thrown onto a new boat. And it's got some weird things on it. So let's go take a look, shall we? Let's turn the HUD back on. Now there are some notable differences here. And there's like three main things that the update has focused on. First of all, they have added detection mechanics. So previously you had the radar block in the game, although it didn't do anything. Now it actually does something, and we'll take a look at that later, because that will be the most in-depth thing we'll have to take a look at. We've also got usability improvements. We've got some prefabs in the inventory, so we can go and show you that. For example, if we go over to resources, we'll have a couple of prefabs in here. We've got this little checklist that gives you things like fuel storage and just basically helps you design your own vehicles. Like, do we have fuel, do we have ammo, materials, can the AI look everywhere with the new detection updates, will my plane work the way it will my ship work, etc. So that is definitely helpful. New weapon aiming system that turns the avatar into a serious threat and adds a lot of gameplay options for those wanting to control their own weapons. So we'll leave build mode, take a quick look at that. If you can look in the lower left corner, we can now control all the weapons, or let the AI control everything. I was sort of hoping they would keep the 6 types of slots and then leave us to also control nothing at all. Because I did like having like my main guns separate from my secondary guns and being able to only control the secondary guns or whatnot. Anyway, that is not going to be a thing. And then third, they have added a single raw resource which is called material, which will be replacing natural, metal, oil, scrap and crystal. Doesn't involve much, if any, redesigning of your vehicles, but it makes the game more streamlined, more balanced and easily understandable for newcomers. And you won't have to manage 5 different resources, or like 6, or even 7. Hell, perhaps even 8 if you're using a fortress to generate battery power. Otherwise you'd have to manage ammo, fuel, battery charge, and then there's raw materials like the metal, natural, and all that. You'd go crazy. Now this does mean that the UI is a bit more streamlined. You no longer have 5 different bars of resources on the lower part of your screen. It's just the infinite materials now. And you can now press F5 to stop giving raw resources to vehicles around you. So for example, we are now no longer giving this boat any of our raw resources. And we have a simple bar on the right side that I believe indicates either raw resources or spares to help repair. I think it just indicates raw materials that are on board, which is fair enough. Right, let us quickly move on to the actual AI, which is the biggest new change in this update. Right, so here we are, back on the little raft. We spawned in a dastardly little egg over here belonging to the Deepwater Guard. We'll make them pay at some point. Now, we have detection gear. We have a coincidence rangefinder. Searches for above water targets and can get accurate range estimates as well as bearing estimates. Clear line of sight out of the vehicle, so detection is enabled. Basically, it's got 2 little ports over here that point out, so this is where it'll be facing. Interestingly enough, the active radar does have less chance of detection right now, so there are a lot of different detection methods out there. We'll take a look at them in just a second. Over here you can see there are some new blocks on the mainframe. We've got general purpose processing cards. Provides the processing power to run the detection equipment connected to the mainframe. Connected mainframe has access to 5 units of general purpose processing power to process the detection of its 4 detectors, of which 0 are trackers. The detectors and trackers need 4.5 power total. This means they are running at 100% of their max detection rate. We'll go over to the Dreadnought here. and we'll take a bit of a better look at what might be inside set trackers and such. We'll just hit that button, there we go, that's a lot easier. So we've got a mainframe here, we've got it hooked to a bunch of general purpose processing power things. We've got a rangefinder on there for purpose. We've got an active radar gimbal, which searches for above water targets with clear line of sight and will track it as well. And then there's something else over here called a wireless snooper. Basically, you can have one ship do all the detecting for you, which is listed in detection equipment over here with a helpful arrow saying like, hey, since August 2016, AIs in planets, in most planets at least, will need detection equipment in order to fire accurately at enemy constructs. But over here we can find the general purpose processing card. They will connect to connectors, they will connect to card slots, they will connect to anything connected to the actual AI itself. Then we've got an intra-vehicle transmitter here. Sends detection information to other vehicles. So if you're using a well beefed up flagship, then it can send out that detection information, which will in turn make it easier for stealth ships to lock onto you. Yes, it is now possible to use stealth to a certain degree. I haven't really experimented with it yet, but we can look at it later in more depth. This is just a basic video to cover the update, make you guys aware of it, because I know that a lot of you guys come to this channel for From the Depths, and so I figured, you know, even just a basic look at the update might help some people of you understand a little bit better. Also note this number over here, that's the material cost. You can clearly see it says material cost 60 and the number here says 60 for your convenience. Now let's take a look at that detection equipment. That's a lot of things. We've got passive sonar that will automatically listen for vehicles in the water, so submarines. Can detect these targets from almost a full sphere, cannot look down through itself. Passive radar, which basically does the same but above water. Then we've got an active radar. Difference between active radar and inactive radar. Angular error is a bit higher on the passive. Range error is also a little bit higher. Creates detection 10 times per second, both of them. They require the same amount of GPP, aka general processing power. Relative detection range is 0.5 of 1. So it seems like this one is a little bit better, and this one can detect missile radar buoys and missile active radar seekers. Yeah, there's a lot of materials here. There's a retro reflection sonar, there's cameras, IR cameras, sonar, like active sonar. We've got directional sonar and radar, directional cameras. We've got the radar gimbal tracker that we showed off there. We've got the IR camera gimbal tracker, which looks for infrared heat signatures, so hot engines, etc., which will be useless against craft with radial thermal generators, etc. We've got the camera gimbal tracker. That one looks pretty okay, but it doesn't have excellent range finding. You'll want to use the laser rangefinder tracker for that, which has a 0.1% range error. Detects 15 times per second, only requires 0.1 GPP. An instrument has a relative detection range of 2 in comparison. So the detection range increase basically means you'll be able to be detected from further out. Then we've got the coincident rangefinders with a bunch of varying sizes and lengths. We've got the basic variant, which is cheaper, and then we've got the armored variant of it as well, which you can place like on top of turrets, which will make your turrets look a lot better and look cooler like those Second World War ones. That'll be pretty cool. But yeah, you can see the 5 meter one has a 2% range error, the 7 meter one 1.428%, this one 1.111 per second. They all detect 4 times per second. The only difference between armored and not armored is health and cost, basically. Also, buoyancy and drag. They need to be above sea level. And that's about it. You can use them to get in accurate range estimate and all that. Then we've got a missile sonar buoy holder. Allows the deployment of a sonar buoy on a missile. They will only reload once their buoy is no longer active. Means if you have 3 buoy holders on your vehicle, you can only have 3 missiles with sonar buoys in flight. So you can literally drop a torpedo that will scan for submarines. It's pretty cool. It's actually what they did in the Second World War. They drop sonar into the water, have it like tow behind and scan and stuff. Also useful for detecting mines and such. But anyway, that is a quick and dirty coverage of the update here. I might do a more in-depth tutorial on these detection methods later and update my AI tutorial accordingly with a little notification saying, hey, as of August you now require detection to have your AI take control of weapons. But anyway, that has been it for this quick video. If you enjoyed this or found it in any way informative, then do hit that like button down below. Leave a comment if you have anything to say, or to ask. I'll try to answer any questions, but I might not be able to quite yet. And if you want to see more from the depths, you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, then definitely do so. We'll be back in 2 days with more from the depths we'll be building. But until then, as always, have a good one, folks.